Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare. So settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you? I hope everything is going great today. I have been writing up late, up early, then went back to sleep, working on scripts. So everything, the day has started well over here. I'm feeling sore. My brother is, we've got to do, I've been, cutting grass and walking. But my brother was like, we got to do more than that. So he's challenged me to 30 days of workout. And so I did it yesterday. I did my 20 minutes worth of workout yesterday using the workout videos and also feeling that knew I was. But hey, it's a good thing to do. Good morning, James. Good morning. And Sable Phoenix. Sable Phoenix says me rocks out to the morning grind theme music, head banging, throwing up the horns, the works. Good morning, Lynn and Zero the Blade. Good morning. Mike is here. Good morning. Sable Phoenix again. Stray is here as well. Good morning, Frederick. Good morning. So today, let's see. I hope that I actually got the right cover here for Black Sword Hack, because we've got another Black Hack revision. I guess we should have looked at Black Hack. These got closer to the time we're taking a look at Black Hack, but I guess these were recommended about that time because we had Black Hack, and then it seems like 2 people have been hacking the hack. And so this is going to be Black Sword Hack. And I have no idea what it's going to be like. So let's go ahead and bring that up. But I did see, let's see. We've got the cover here. For some reason, when I downloaded this, it's got the cover in a separate file. And this is the cover that came with the download. So that actually looks a bit more stylistically like I might expect the Black Sword Hack to look. Following off of Black Hack and everything else. But maybe the other one was right as well. We will see. It doesn't matter. But this is what we're looking at. Black Sword Hack. Has anybody played this one? Has this one been a fan of? Is anybody here a fan of this one? It's interesting that the Black Hack seems like it has been very popular and spawned additional games in and of itself. So, and this is only comes to me from you guys as well. So I think the Black Hack I found, and you guys recommended the buy this axe I hack and Black Sword Hack. Steel Mongoose says time to hit the weight room. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since that's happened. The black cover, Sable Phoenix, the black cover I think is the first edition. The color is their revised edition. Okay. So then the same kind of thing. I think so. I'm looking at the older edition right here. Okay. So revised edition on the thumbnail, but that's what I got here. I got the older edition. Okay. So let me take that down. All right. So here is Black Sword Hack. It says written and laid out by Kobayashi, cover and interior art by David Gull. Doomed princes, cunning vagabonds, and greedy mercenaries try to survive and prevail in a world torn apart by law and chaos. Those who survive the trials of their humble beginnings will soon find themselves at a new center of the struggle. Will they usher the dawn of a new age, give the last push to a world on the brink of oblivion, or simply make the best of a dying world as long as they can? Black Sword Hack is a dark fantasy role-playing game inspired by the works of Michael Moorcock, mainly the Eternal Champion series, and is a standalone game that uses the Black Hack 2nd edition rules as a foundation. All right. Now, I noticed there was a separate character sheet. There's a character sheet in the back here, too. So I have to swap over to another file. So here, Black Sword Hack. Classic D&D statistics here. Strength, Dex, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. We've got name, player, origin, level, backgrounds. So very basic stuff here. Gifts. Let's see what those are. Armor, hit points, equipment, doom dice, and damage dice. Oh, Frederick confirms. The color is the Ultimate Caps edition. It comes with expanded GM tools. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what this is about then. So, contents, we've got rules, combat, character creation, equipment, experience, dark pacts, spells, twisted science, rune weapons, creating your world, Heimdallr, Port of the North, a bestiary, an adventure in here, Scalpel Surprise, Appendix 1 of Ships in the Sea. Oh, look, of Ships in the Sea, classically named right there. Glossary and character sheet. Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you for posting the Discord server links, Dre. Oh, let's breathe and sip. I knew we were missing something. We're jumping right in here. So before we get started here with turns, everybody got their favorite drink this morning? Let's go ahead and take a drink here. 2 deep breaths. Deep inhale, complete exhale, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. And sip. Oh, Frederick's making a correction here. So that's Ultimate. I was wondering what that was. Ultimate Caps Edition, but it's Ultimate Chaos Edition. So Ultimate Chaos Edition. Chocolate macadamia nut. You have that this morning? I don't have coffee this morning. I just have Coke Zero. All right. To make sure everyone at the table has a chance to speak, the game uses turns. At the table, a turn is the time needed for a character to move and act. In game time, a turn may represent a few moments during combat, a few minutes, a few hours, or even a few days. The game is always played in turns. Okay, 1 turn, 2 actions. To make sure no player hogs the spotlight, a character can only take 2 actions during his turn. The action complexity and the distance covered with a move action depends on the length of a turn as established by the GM. Movements, minutes, hours. There's a catch, though. If you take the same action twice, you must make a doom roll. See below. Okay, so I guess that's what you're talking about here, Frederick. Doom, doom, doom. So we've got the doom roll. Taking an action twice results in a doom roll. When a character tries to do something that has a chance to fail, the character must make an attribute test by rolling d20. So this is a roll under system. Rolling under the attribute succeeds. Rolling on or above the character fails or succeeds at a cost. Oh, we have success at a cost here. Critical success and failure. No matter what the modifiers are, a roll of 1 is always a critical failure. No, excuse me. A roll of 1 is always a critical success. So this flips it back from Black Sword Hack. So if it's a roll under, that's how it should be, right? A roll of 1 is a critical success. A roll of 20 is a critical failure in a roll under system. For an attack roll, a critical success means the character does maximum damage and adds another damage die on top of that. That keeps you from rolling double dice damage and then rolling really low. Steel Mongoose says Coke Zero is my guilty pleasure too. Well, I often have Mountain Dew Zero as well. I drank that yesterday. That's probably why I screwed my sleep schedule up. Whatever the roll, a critical failure means you must make a doom roll. See below. Critical failures, doom rolls. Advantage and disadvantage. Okay, that was used extensively in By This Axe I Hack. Having an advantage or disadvantage on a roll means it should be made twice. Advantage allows the player to choose which result to use. Disadvantage means the GM chooses the result to use. Disadvantage. So for the GM, use this rule to reflect bad or good conditions that can influence an attribute test or a roll. This might be the strained relationship or having the right tools for the job. For the player, try to create situations where your character can get advantage. Find a better position, help another character, offer a bribe, etc. Oh, by the way, it was brought up in the comment section on yesterday's stream that when you're rolling and trying to summon demons and By This Axe I Hack, well, make sure that you're rolling with advantage because your first spell of the day is rolled with advantage. So that does help out not rolling a 1 and having the demon like turn loose and try to kill you. So I guess always make sure that summoning a demon is your first spell of the day. So that turns it from like into a 1 in 20 chance to like a 1 in 400 chance of both rolling a 20. Both rolling a 1. Yeah, both rolling a 1. That would be the critical failure over there. Advantage and disadvantage can apply to all die rolls, attribute tests, damage rolls, and any usage dice. If a roll happens to have both advantage and disadvantage, they cancel out, no matter how many times advantage and disadvantage you have. We are also using usage dice here. So this is a classic Black Axe thing. Okay, some things in the game can be represented with a usage die to model the fact that they are available in limited quantities. Ammunition, torches, rations, influence, it says. When the resource is used or combat is over for weapons usage die, you roll its usage die. A result of 1 to 2 means the usage die is downgraded to the next smallest die. When you roll a 1 or a 2 on your usage die 4, it means it is used up. As a rule of thumb, the average number of uses for each usage die is as follows. How does it get that? I think I looked at this when I was thinking it was something else. Right, yeah, no, that's what's going on. So summon a demon first thing every morning and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. Exactly, yeah. That sounds like something from the cultists. Usage dice D4 2, I get that. On average, you're going to be able to roll a D6 5 times without rolling a 1 or a 2. How are you going to be able to roll? See, on average, it says that you can roll a D8 9 times without rolling a 1 or a 2, or by the time you roll a 1 or a 2. A D10 you can roll 14 times. I wonder how that's calculated. Does that sound right? That I can roll a D12 an average of 20 times before I roll my first 1 or 2? But then again, see, this is also, we've talked about this before, and I'm not sure how much I like the usage dice. Because that could wildly swing. I mean, you could use a D12 and during the course of the game never expend any of the resources. So it would never degrade to a D10. On the other hand, you could roll a 1 or a 2 all the way down and have whatever you have expiring 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 times. Like 5, but still 5 uses would be a lot. Or you could have infinite number of uses. Yeah, Steel Mongoose says, demon summoning is not just for breakfast anymore. Lynn says, I'm wondering about the math behind those usage dice number. Me too. Because how can you roll it on average more than the number of faces of the die? I'm not sure about that. All right, Doom. Violent and chaotic action that brings the world closer to its end may trigger a Doom roll. Depleting their Doom die means the character brings Doom upon themselves. So is this like a usage die? Depleting their Doom die means the characters bring Doom upon themselves. Roll Doom when taking the same action twice during the same turn. If the action already requires a Doom roll, roll with disadvantage. Using a gift that requires it, getting a critical failure on an attribute test. The Doom die returns to its maximum, a D6, after the character has taken a long rest. Players can choose to invite a Doom roll. Roll Doom and subtract the result from your character's attribute test. Roll Doom and subtract the result from your character's attribute test or add it to a damage roll. The Doom die automatically degrades. So that's like a bonus. So giving yourself, I guess it starts at a D6, but I guess you go down to a D4. Once Doom is depleted, the character is considered doomed. All of their attribute tests and damage rolls are made with disadvantage until the character can take a long rest. But you can use it to roll the Doom die and subtract the result from one of your character's attribute tests. I'm guessing that means it degrades like the usage die. So if you roll a 6 on there, then you get to add a 6 to your attribute test. No, subtract the result from one of your attribute tests because you're trying to roll under, or add it to a damage roll. Oh no, the Doom die automatically degrades. So even if you roll a 6, it degrades. Even if you roll a 4, it degrades. At 1, it degrades. If you only have a D4 left, you're going to doom yourself. That doesn't really sound like a great thing to do unless you absolutely have to create pass some attribute test. Hey, Charlie. Lynn says maybe 30 is the average number of uses it takes to work your way down the whole dice chain if you start with a D20. Well, maybe. It says for each usage die, but maybe that's it. That would explain why this is 5. That maybe is what they're trying to say. The average number of uses for each usage die is as follows. That's probably it. It doesn't make it sound like that by saying for each usage die. The average total number of uses before a particular type of usage die will be completely expended could be these. That's probably it. Frederick says the doom is a form of fatigue. Yeah, I was expecting some type of doom table or something like that. We had doom in Blood and Doom. There was a lot of material in that. Distances. Black Sword Hack uses 4 ranges: close, nearby, far away, and distant. They changed that up by this axe I hack. Close, nearby, far away, and distant. Moving 1 range requires 1 move action. Depending on the length of a turn, the actual distance covered by the character will vary. For example, in combat, close, nearby, far away, distance. In meters and in squares. Perception. When a character is actively looking for something, they should find it. If time is of the essence, make an intelligence test. In a group effort, if half the characters succeed at their attribute test, the whole group does. We've talked about that. I like the system where you have to figure out whether or not one player failing would doom the entire endeavor, or if one player succeeding would cover for everybody. And if so, then you have the person with the best or worst modifier roll. Punk Soup says doom scrolling is also a form of fatigue. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. Combat. All right. Initiative. At the beginning of each combat, every player makes a wisdom test. Those who succeed act before the opposition, starting with the player seated to the left of the GM. The rest act after the opposition, once again in a clockwise fashion. A critical success gives you an additional action. A critical failure leaves you with just 1 action this turn. So I asked if anybody was playing this. Anybody new had come in playing this? Which one is preferred? By this axe I hack. So these are both derivatives of Black Hack. Which one are people preferring? Which one has the larger following? I don't know. So a critical failure leaves you with just 1 action this turn. During their turn, characters can take 2 action. Roll Doom if you take the same action twice. Move, attack, or use something, cast a spell, etc. Attacking. Use a melee weapon. Make a strength test. Or a ranged weapon. Make a dex test. A successful attack deals damage. Roll damage dice. A critical success deals damage dice and adds another damage die on top of that. I'm still a fan of that. Defending, make a strength test. For if you parry, or dodging, make a dex test. The character must be holding something to be able to parry. Ranged attacks can only be dodged. A failed defense roll means the character takes damage. The critical failure means the character's armor is ignored. So this is, again, player-facing, all player-facing rolls. That's the way the other hack was. If an opponent's level is higher than the character's level, Frederick says, I have run Black Sword Hack. The expanded GM tools make it really easy to create the game and the world live at the table. Oh, interesting. If an opponent's level is higher than the character's level, then the player should add the difference between the 2 values to the D20 when making attribute tests to attack, defend, influence, or otherwise interfere with their opponent. If the character's level is higher, no modifier is applied. By this axe I hack kind of streamlined that. I wonder, is that part of just Black Hack? The armor's protection rating is subtracted from the oncoming damage, which can therefore be reduced to 0, and shields give you advantage to your defense test when parrying. Two-handed weapons give you advantage on your damage rolls. Ongoing damage, things like acid or fire damage deal ongoing damage. This means the victim takes UD4 points of damage each turn until the dice degrades. Armor is useless against ongoing damage. Now, there's a situation where the usage dice, I think, could work. So you're taking ongoing damage, although that doesn't account for, like, if you get... That's nice for, I suppose, like, it's nice. Oh, that's nice for acid. That doesn't account for something like flame, where if you get increasingly consumed by a conflagration. Yes, Frederick confirms all player-facing dice. Sable Phoenix says, in my opinion, that's the biggest strength of the OSR, is just building the world as you play. Armor is useless against ongoing damage. Now, you could modify that by just saying, if it's fire damage, for instance, most things like corrosion damage, maybe some type of poison damage, I can see doing a die worth of damage and then having it degrade. But if you've got something like fire, which could increase, then you could just say that, all right, it starts with D4, and the die either degrades, or if you roll the maximum, like a 4, or it could be the top 2 or whatever it is, then you step up a die. Hit points. When an NPC's hit points reaches 0, it's dead. At 0 hit points, a character is helpless. When the combat is over or the character is taken to a safe space, the character rolls a D, or the player rolls a D6. Okay. So if you roll 0 or hit 0 hit points, you have to roll this D6. Helpless, scratch. The character is good to go except for a new scar. Missed, one randomly picked piece of equipment is destroyed. Impaired, disadvantage on all dex checks for the remainder of the session. Injured, disadvantage on all attribute checks for the remainder of the session. Butchered, lose 1 point of strength or dex permanently. Killed, create a new character, the same level as the dead one. A surviving character results 1 to 5. Immediately get D4 HP back. Recovery. Characters are a sturdy lot who heal faster than average people. They can get back HP by taking a short rest or a long rest. Short rest. Lasts 1 hour. Characters recover a number of HP equal to half their con score rounded down. A character can take 1 short rest per day. Long rests that last 6 hours recover all of their HP. Many gifts and usage dice are restored after a long rest. While in the wild, this is interesting. While in the wild, even long rests count as a short rest. Characters must be in safe, civilized environment to fully recover. I thought that was rather generous. Okay, but actually that's not quite so easy, because a lot of the times you're not going to be in safe, civilized environments. So on the road camping, you can't do that. You can't take a long rest. Helpless. This is similar to scars in Cairn, but also like a good creative alternative to death saves. But it's also like a good creative alternative to death saves. I like it. I wonder, I don't remember I don't really remember the scars in Cairn. But death saves, yeah, I'm also not... I don't think I would use it. I know what it's trying to do. It's obviously trying to provide uncertainty as to when you're going to die. But I don't know that it actually provides the impetus for people that it's supposed to. Okay, somebody was talking about the characters really need a way. Players really need a way to know when their characters are really hurt and should run away. Some games have used like a bloody mechanic or something like that. That in D&D you don't degrade. Now if you start degrading your character because of hit dice damage, then some people then talk about the death spiral you get into. But some people have used like a binary, bloodied or wounded or something like that. Like there needs to be a good way to signal that the player characters need to get out of there before they fall dead. So creating a character is a 3-step process. The player rolls their character's attributes, picks an origin, and finally chooses backgrounds. So we got our stats here. Roll 2d6 for each attribute in order and note its score using the table below. All right, roll 2d6. So this is using a smaller range than by this axe I hack. Sable Phoenix says, I don't know why more games don't copy Pathfinder 2 and make dying its own condition. Yes, dying itself is a condition in Pathfinder. I've been trying to decide what I think about Pathfinder. We could still probably look at it some more. I thought that when we got it, that we'd be looking at it a lot more than we have. But yeah, dying is its own condition, and there's something weird about, being wounded is also its own condition, and it occurs after you've had some kind of dying condition. But then healed from it or something like that. I don't remember. There's some kind of relationship I remember between dying and being wounded. There's the math on Pathfinder is so tight. I mean, it seems like that when I was trying to work with creating Pathfinder characters or creating a Pathfinder book, I think I'm just going to have to find somebody who's an expert in Pathfinder 2nd edition, because it seems like the best thing to do is to work within their existing framework. But you really have to understand the Pathfinder 2 framework, I think, in order to. And it takes a lot to understand. If you were playing it regularly, then I think you would. Frederick says, avoid combat. Trust not the dice. They work for the house. So here, everybody's going from 8 to 13, so not up to 16 here. But you're generating this using the stepped distribution of the 2d6. So 10s and 11s will be pretty common. Your character was born in an asylum deep in the Forbidden City, in the last city of a dying species, in a secret society hideout in the Far East. Origin. Pick one of the following: barbarian, civilized, or decadent. Each origin allows you to pick 3 backgrounds, 2 tied to your origin and another one from any list. You cannot take 2 backgrounds with the unique tag. So this is like building out a character with backgrounds. Punk Soup says, personally, I'm a fan of keeping it simple. Actually, where 0 HP means your character is dead. But this is well telegraphed to the players from the beginning. Pathfinder would benefit from emulation that would replace the need to be an expert by reducing complex math. I have not gotten to play it. I need to play it, but from reading through it, it doesn't seem like something that's very easily, hackable. That's the word we're using right here, right? It doesn't seem like it's something that you easily hack. But then again, there's so many options there. There's so many options with each kind of character class. I think it's built so you don't have to. But it's also built very much for, it feels like its own kind of world. You're playing Pathfinder and it's set up to play a certain way. But there are a lot of options. You just have to, if you were trying to play in some other type of world, you got to find the options that work. Okay, so if you're a barbarian, each origin, we got barbarian, civilized, or decadent. So the barbarian origin allows me to pick 3 of these backgrounds, 2 tied to your origin, and then 1 from any list. Okay, so I could be a berserker. So I could pick 2, a berserker, herbalist, hunter, shaman, storyteller, wildling. That one's you can take a long rest anywhere. That's probably pretty useful. Civilized includes bookworm, inventor, legionnaire, sophist, street urchin, surgeon, sword master. Inventor is unique. So does that mean I could take sword master twice? You can use dex instead of strength when making a melee attack with a one-handed bladed weapons +1 dex. So if I take sword master 2, because it doesn't say that I can't take, it says I can't take a unique one, but I guess I could take 2 sword master if I wanted to. Decadent, so assassin is a unique here. You get basically a sneak attack. Snake blood, you're immune to poison and venom. Warlock gives you pacts with demons. Total hit points is equal to your constitution score. All characters start with D6 usage dice in Doom. By default, okay, so this is also like class-based damage, but this is just all you start with D6 armed damage and D4 unarmed damage. A couple of weeks a PC died in game, and I handed the player the ghost hack. You don't get to make a new character yet. There's ghost hack. What there was I remember, I think it was for 3rd edition, the Ghost Walker or something like that. There was this Ghost Walker book where that you could actually play a dead character and you could level up in ghost levels or something like that. It was. We never had it. That could be cool, I think, if you built a campaign around it. But on the other hand, like it was another way to make death easier. Well, now here, now you play as a ghost and now do ghost stuff. So Ghost Hack might be like that. Oh, Ghost Hack is based on White Wolf Wraith. That's one I'm unfamiliar with. I brought that up in another window. So characters usually begin their adventure with a set of clothes, a few coins depending on their origin, and 2 weapons. For your 2 weapons, roll 2 d10s on page 20. 1 roll on the table tied to your origin, another one from your table of choice. The result of 0 means no weapon with that roll. Kind of like a knave-like thing. Did knave randomize weapons? I don't think knave I think you chose weapons, but you randomized armor and stuff. Your characters probably speak Therian and another language tied to their origin. You know, the more I think about the languages, I like the way that Lamentations handles languages. That way, you know, the language is going to come up. Like, okay, you know another language, so you'll have a chance to know the one that is in front of you at the table, rather than having to figure out what language might be useful during the game. I like that. Just once you encounter a language, you'll roll to see whether or not you know it. Stargate Mind says, I have a portfolio of characters. My AD&D characters to 3 million XP was faster than today's 5 XP and advancement. More characters, more fun. I like, I mean, there are a lot of different character concepts I would like to play. So being able to play more of those character concepts to me is good. Wraith was a great game. Very cool adversarial system. All right, I've got it up in a different tab, so I'll check that out. There are ghost players in D&D, but it's a little OP with the speak, a little OP with the speak with dead spell. They make awesome scouts. Well, I bet that's true. I haven't seen that having a ghost player, and I guess you're talking about 5th edition. Frederick says, the old White Wolf World of Darkness was converted to hack. Vampire hack, Magus hack, and Ghost hack. Okay, cost of living. At the beginning of each adventure, characters lose a number of coins equal to their constitution. This represents their daily expenses between two adventures. How much things cost, price lists. Okay, you're rolling for their prices. Poisons and drugs. For simplicity's sake, we've divided poison, herbs, and drugs according to their effects. They're listed below with their associated rules and 2 different examples to use in your own setting. Healing, like King's Laurel or Angel's Tail, heals D6 HP. Pain, Troll Bark, Blood Ash succeeded at a contest, or suffer or suffer disadvantage on all rolls. What you find when you loot a corpse, see page 54. Steal a rich merchant's purse, D6 times 10 coins. Open a treasure chest, D6 times 100 coins. Gems usually have D6 times 100 value. Same goes for most valuables, from silverware to good paintings. Here are weapons, right? D20. So 1 to 9s, this is D10. So if you roll the 10, you didn't get a weapon with that one. So this is the barbarian weapons, the civilized weapons, and the decadent weapons. Katana is on here. If you want to add an effect for your attack, say so before you make an attribute test and then make a doom roll. NPCs don't have access to weapon effects. You'll break your opponent's weapon as you throw them to the ground. So if you want to add this effect, declare this before you make your attack, then roll a doom roll. And I suppose that this just allows you to do it then. Your risk then is the doom roll. Brutal, add the doom die result to the damage you inflict. Disarm, you do no damage, but your target is disarmed. Entangle, you do no damage. All attacks against the target this turn are done with advantage. Pin down, inflict regular damage, and your target cannot move this turn. Sacrifice, roll damage twice, 3 times if you're attacked with a critical hit, but the weapon breaks. Punk Soup says, I want to run the game now where all the characters are ghosts. Frederick says, yes, the doom is the risk. Vicious, inflict regular and ongoing damage with a D4. So here's our protection rating. Light, protection 1. Medium, protection 2. And this is just subtracted from the damage, which is not a lot. Heavy armor, protection 3. You had to use points of protection with Black Sword Hack, and I think they reduced the damage by your constitution or something like that. Each time a character survives an adventure, he gains a story. Just note the name of the adventure on your character sheet or make one up. Characters gain a level once they have a number of stories equal to their current level. Maximum level for character is 10. Level and associated benefits. Level 2 is +1 to 1 attribute. Maximum score is 18, +1 HP. Gift and HP, and we're alternating between those two things. At level 10, Doom die is now D8. So here are gifts. Fortress of the Mind. Get advantage on attribute tests when resisting your enemy's spells. Spirit Alliance. Get advantage when summoning a specific spirit. This was Gifts of Balance. Gifts of Chaos. Dubious Friendships. Make your demon's revenge rolls with advantage. Or Bloodlust. Upgrade both your damage dice 1 size. Gifts of Law. Battle Hardened. Riddle of Steel. One of your weapons now inflicts D12 damage, but if you get a 1 on your damage roll, it breaks. You may transfer this gift to another weapon you find during the adventure. Dark Pacts. Stray says, I actually really like that level system. You know, the other, I'll have to remember what was in actually Black Hack, but by this axe, I had you testing all of your attributes, right? So they could go up. And as we pointed out, Mork Borg has your attributes going up or possibly down when you're rolling. So Demon Pacts, characters who have the Warlock background has 2 demons at its service. Roll Doom. Invoking a demon power. Roll Doom. Invoking demons very or something done a lot with these different black hacks. Roll Doom with disadvantage for each demon you summon after the first. We just said you should always be summoning demons with advantage. But here, roll Doom with disadvantage for each demon you summon after the first. Oh, you're rolling your Doom with disadvantage. This resets with a long rest. The result of 1 on this roll may have dire consequences. Which is going to happen. That's just a D6. You're rolling Doom as a D6 and could be a D4. If the Doom die is depleted while invoking the demon, roll on the demon's revenge table. Which means the demon could steal one of your possessions, destroy one of your allies' weapons. The demon pays itself in blood, lose D6 HP. The pact is broken. You can no longer invoke this particular demon anymore. The demon appears and inflicts 3d6 damage to the warlock. The pact is broken. But what do you get for that? Sable says, oh, hey, I just had an idea. Maybe you have thresholds for leveling your attributes. And if you get hurt, you raise the threshold. And when you roll, that might decrease the attribute. Let me see that again. Maybe you have thresholds for leveling your attributes. And if you get hurt, you raise the threshold. And when you roll, it might decrease that attribute. Well, I'm fine with potentially having a attribute decrease, but it seems like it should decrease for a reason, like what you're talking about here. Like if you get hurt in some way that it could decrease your attribute. I'm not sure exactly what you mean here, but I'm fine with an attribute potentially decreasing. It's that Mork Borg does that basically randomly. By default, demons are never seen. They influence the target without showing themselves. Demon magic is insidious, getting its strength from the weakness of its victims. The name of the summoned demon must be clearly spoken by the warlock that invokes it. So what does it do for you, though? It is always possible for a character to form a pact with a demon during play. It always should be an arduous, and the result should be a result of a dangerous adventure or quest. Okay, so I guess these are the different demons here. So, Demon of Greed creates 46 fake coins that will revert to their natural state within 1 hour. On a roll of 1, the demon steals 46 coins from the warlock or its allies. Fear, you learn your target's deepest fear. On the roll of a 1, the target learns your deepest fear as well. Nightmare, the target loses a night of sleep. All attribute tests against it are made with advantage on the following day. On a roll of 1, anger takes over and tests against the target are made with disadvantage. Oblivion, Ruin, Wrath. The target becomes berserk and attacks everyone in sight. On a roll of 1, the warlock is affected as well. Freeform demonism. There's just not enough of that in the world. GM should be open to players using demon invocation in a more open-ended way, using the above effects as mere guidelines. Just keep the following principles in mind. Demons reinforce or exacerbate the worst traits of its target. The tricky part is coming with a backlash when you get 1. The tricky part is coming with a backlash when you get 1 on the Doom roll. As a baseline, the effect of the demon influence becomes permanent, especially for innocuous powers, or they affect the warlock as well, well suited for offensive powers. or or Spirit Alliance for the shamans. Fire Spirit. An existing fire can be manipulated, doubled in size, given any shape or form, moved around, etc. It can inflict D6 damage and then D6 ongoing damage. Oh, by the way, as far as another thing to look at, just trying to keep an eye on the different YouTubers, RPG stuff. I do have, I've got DC20 right here. Has anybody been following what the Dungeon Coach DC20? I found that he has a playlist of YouTube videos about DC20. So I do anticipate covering that one as well. I signed up on the list to get a copy of whatever playtest release or whatever whenever it comes out. I don't think that's out yet, but I was watching the DC20 stuff as I was cleaning or something yesterday or 2 days ago. I kind of like the way that's going. The action system is like the kind of modification I would also make to the Pathfinder system. So if you are interested in watching another design kind of journal, I still recommend Mark Tassin on the Cool Name RPG. I've been enjoying his design journals that he does every Thursday night. But I was also enjoying what he was saying, the Dungeon Coach was saying. So once we get something, I'm gonna finish. I haven't watched all the videos yet, but I'm gonna continue to watch those. But we'll get when we get them. When I get some type of something sent, and he releases something, we'll take a look at it. The coach and I are very similar in design goals. Stargate Mind says his system is good, but a new vocabulary. Yeah, see, I've watched a few of the Dungeon Coach's videos. I like the action economy idea in particular. Yeah, I agree. That's what I got to. I think I had just finished the action economy videos. I like that too. It seemed I liked. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not, but I like the Pathfinder action economy. But I think he's improved it. He's improved it by. There's no reason. He's right. There's no reason for reactions to be something that's different than the actions. We'll talk about that when he gets some type of document out. So a forest spirit can help you find your way, food, water, or shelter when you're in a forest. It can also summon plants that will hinder your enemies. On a roll of 1 means the spirit makes sure you have a miserable time. No short or long rest for the next 2 days. A river spirit, water must be present. And as with the fire spirit, it can be manipulated in many ways, doubling in size, giving any shape or form, moving around. A roll of 1 makes the water disappear. Sacrificing a spirit alliance. Shaman can choose to sacrifice its relationship with the spirit to obtain a huge effect. Create fire tempest, invoke a hurricane or beast lord. A shaman will be able to make an alliance. Will never be able to make an alliance with that kind of spirit ever again. You can make new alliances with personal sacrifice and stuff. Okay, spells. Forest spirits are actually black flies, preventing you from rest. Casting a spell. Make an int test. This is definitely one of those games that just throws the stuff at you, right? Casting a spell. Make an int test. If a spell is already cast on the same day, roll with disadvantage. So no advantage with this spell casting, but if you've already cast a spell on the same day, no, if the spell, not if a spell, if the spell was already cast on the same day, roll with disadvantage. A failure means that spell cannot be cast, therefore before the character has taken a long rest. A critical failure means that player has to roll on the Torn Veil table. Now, okay, so that is going to happen more often because you're not, unless you come up with some way to give yourself advantage, you're going to hit critical failures on a 20. 20 is critical failure here, but 5% of the time. And then if you've done it more than once, you're going to be rolling with disadvantage. So, Torn Veil, you cannot cast any spells until next sunrise. The spell's energy ravages your body, lose D6 HP. You provoke an explosion of arcane energy, causing D6 damage to anyone nearby. Your body pays the price for your hubris, permanently lose 1 HP. Your mind is shattered by the magical energies, permanently lose 1 point of int. A tentacled monstrosity appears and takes you to another plane. See, that's not uncommon for that to happen. All right, so where's our spell list? Acid Blood. You can turn 3 HP worth of your blood into acid. Does D6... I thought you were doing this to a target. That doesn't sound good. Does D6 damage or can dissolve something not bigger than a small book. So I guess you cut yourself and put it in a vial or something like that? I thought you were turning the enemy's blood into acid. That was going to be cool. Animate Mirror. You can animate your own reflection in a mirror. It will attack anyone that passes near it. Blood Mark. The caster can mark one of his possessions with his blood, permanently losing 1 HP. He always knows where the object is. If the object is destroyed or the mark is erased, the caster gets his HP back. Looks like they really nerfed mages here. Low hit points, bad combat abilities, weak spell casting. Darkness, D6 targets are blinded for D6 minutes. Ghost Pains, the victim feels like he's lost something very important and believes the caster can give it back. Lasts 1 day. Soul Eater, you literally chomp at your target's soul. It drops unconscious, but you get 1 of your casting. If you get a 1 on your casting roll, it dies. You literally chomp on your target's soul. It drops unconscious. But if you get a 1 on your casting roll, it dies. But, like, how you created a magic user, like, everybody, like, the character creation was kind of quick and dirty. So you roll for your attributes. You roll for birth. Okay, but you pick 3 backgrounds. So here is Shaman. Okay, so Shaman right here is Barbarian. You made a pact with 2 spirits. You get +1 wisdom, and then you can use those spirit pacts. How do you... Street Urchin, Surgeon, Sword, Decadent, Assassin, Forbidden Knowledge. You start the... So if you choose Decadent as one of your 3 things, you get Forbidden Knowledge. You start the game with 4 randomly selected spells. So we'd randomly select those spells, and you get +1 in. Now, anybody could take that because you got to take 2 from your background and then choose 1 from some other place, right? And here is Warlock. You have a pact with 2 demons. So that's how you do that. So I suppose if you had chosen Decadent, you could be both a Warlock and have Forbidden Knowledge. You'd have Warlock pacts and 4 randomly selected spells. Well, then I guess that you could take Shaman as well. But even barbarians or civilized people could come down here and take either Warlock or Forbidden Knowledge. So that's how you get your spells. You'd have 4 randomly chosen. I didn't see a spell. I didn't see a spell random table. I wonder how many spells there are. I'm not going to count them. Twisted Science. Human ingenuity can produce wonderful gadgets and terrifying weapons. A character with the inventor background can make a world a better place or burn it to the ground. Each week, you get a number of invention points equal to your int score. Yeah, Frederick says, except you can have spirit or demon servants do the things you would normally use spells for. And then, yeah, you can learn spells. I figured you could learn spells during play. Yeah, having the demon or spirit with you gives you that additional flexibility. Like, what is, okay, Twisted Science mode. So you get a number of invention points equal to your int score each week. Use these points to create gadgets. You must have access to a well-equipped workshop to build them, and your invention points total resets at the beginning of the week. Oh, okay, okay. A character, I was like, say, is this something anybody can do? No, so only people with the inventor background. So if you pick inventor background, then you're making Twisted Science marvels. Gas mask, acid spray, blood-tinted spyglass. Metal owl, prosthetic limb. Truth serum. Rune weapons. Rune weapons are very powerful and dangerous. They should be extremely rare, too. 2 per campaign is a good ratio. These weapons relish the pain they inflict to others, but appreciate the suffering of their wielder even more. A rune weapon comes with an int score determined the same way as for characters, page 12. The GM makes an int test for the weapon at the beginning of each session. If it's successful, the weapon will kill the character if they ever become helpless during that session or an NPC, GM's discretion. Yeah, that's something to keep secret from the GM. And a reason not to carry around one of these intelligent weapons. The Scimitar of Decaying Horde. Example, I roll a 3, 8, and 10. Behold the bastard sword of withering light. A rune weapon can talk to its wielder through telepathy. The GM can do that, but if the players agree, one of them can play the role of the other player's rune weapon. Players cannot act with the weapon in any way, but they can speak to the wielder now and then. The goal is to make sure the weapon has a personality and contributes to the story, not to make another player's life miserable. The misery will happen if it decides to kill you. Don't underestimate the danger of rune weapons, Frederick says. Inventors are kind of like artificers. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. The weapon inflicts damage equal to one of the wielder's attributes, which in turn gives a hint at the weapon's personality. D6. The weapon seems to be made of stone, corals, cold iron. When the enemy is killed, the weapon devours the soul, absorbs its memories, grants D6 HP back to the wielder, turns its body to ashes. The victim's face appears as a tattoo on the wielder's body, makes the enemy's body explode in a really messy way. The weapon can be found on a plague ship or in a necropolis on a floating island. Let's see what it says about creating your own world. Each group playing the Black Sword hack will create its own setting. This chapter will give them the tools to build it. At the center of the struggle between the forces of light and chaos. At the center of it is the struggle between the forces of law and chaos. Thanks to years of arguments over the nature and relevance of alignment in fantasy games, or simply the reading of Paul Anderson and Michael Moorcock's books, every role player now knows that the two don't stand for good and evil. A society dominated by order could be characterized as stable and well-organized, but the same qualities can make it repressive, stagnant, and rigid. A society dominated by chaos can be seen as dynamic, diverse, and thriving, but also be subject to vast inequalities, internal strife, and an unhealthy appetite for conquest. As a GM, a good way to start is to define the main antagonist of the setting. So, is this good or order? Is the villain serving chaos? Now describe the leader's troops. There's no need for subtlety. They'll probably be the character's main enemies or at least a looming threat. What do the order troops look like? Behold the mighty chaos troops. You could have like the Sun Hussars and their flyer lances, the tattooed Janissaries bearing on their skin the names of those they've killed, the martyrs, knights mutilated to look like their namesakes. Behold the mighty chaos troops, the howling phalanxes and their armor made of screaming human faces, death battalions made up of convicts, skeletons, because who doesn't like skeletons? Now it's time to define who is resisting. The character creation hints at a few political entities. Use them loosely to define your setting and add or make up your own. Some of the players could also come up with interesting ideas for their characters' origins. Afterwards, you can determine the political situation of some of them. So this is what got expanded on in the new version. The end is nigh. So then this is our like setting or campaign. Yeah, I guess so. Like an adventure here, or at least a place for adventure. And then a bestiary. NPC stats on the fly. The following table tells the GM how much damage an NPC of a specific level can take and dish out. So we don't have damage dice here. We've just got flat damage because the players are rolling for defense. To avoid unnecessary complications, simply add a few HP. 2 for light armor, 3 for medium, or 4 for full plate or equivalent. Asymmetry in our PCs and NPCs. We've got morale. What kinds of stuff do you find on their corpses? Okay, so an angry peasant. You don't know where you're going and end up at the wrong end of a fork held up by an angry or fearful. Once at 0 HP, consider that the mob flees. You don't know when you're going to end up at the wrong end of a fork held up by an angry or fearful. Peasant? So fork, dex, or strength. And I'm taking that's like pitchfork. 3 damage, torch, dex, ongoing damage. The Eaters of the Dead. So a shaman, the spiritual leader of the tribe, but not always the more intelligent one. Shamans are fanatics. Evil Eye target suffers disadvantage during its next turn. Pitiful knife attack, strength or dex or strength, 3 damage. This is what the character sheets look like. Quite a few of these. Archers shoot dex 5 damage. Fleet-footed moves twice this turn. Damage knife for 3. Here are your skeletons. Skeleton warriors use a scimitar for dex or strength, 6 damage. How do you know what it's... Well, I guess that's... How do you know what it rolls? Scimitar, strength, or dex. Oh, it's because it's not rolling. The player is rolling. So the player would roll to resist the skeleton warrior's scimitar, strength, or dex, and take 6 damage if not. Bag of bone, strength. Your weapon is stuck in the skeleton unless you succeed a strength test. Relentless, once at 0 HP, come back with 1 HP on a roll of 5 or 6 on a D6. And this is a pretty straightforward adventure. Well, what do we think? All of this still does make me want to write. I've been working on the Ravivania script, though. I got more grass to cut. I got to go work out, and then I got to get back to writing. Everybody, do check out the Discord server. If we, I've got some of the things I want to do, but the way to notify everybody is going to be the Discord server. So I'm going to put a link to the Ravenkeep Discord server in here. Ravenkeep Discord. Frederick says, cool, I hadn't looked over the basic book. So I guess you said that the expanded version has more on running the world. I put out notifications there if something's going on at some other time other than the morning grind. All right. Well, I'm going to go cut grass, I suppose. So I will see everybody at least tomorrow morning. Be creative, be constructive, and grind on. Later, everybody.